so that the local markets can reach at the global level. So we have to reduce the impact of Chinese goods from now onwards. Thank you.
Okay, guys. So the exercise which we are going to do, that comes in GTO. Okay. Dheeraj, you have to go through the previous video I shared. Have you gone through that?
Yes, sir.
क्या देखा उसमें? मैंने क्या कराया था इससे, क्या बोलते हैं, राहुल कुमार से जब कल का सेशन ज्वाइन किया था तो?
सर ये राहुल कुमार ने AI पे बोला था सर, लेक्चरेट में।
अच्छा, और अनिरुद्ध ने क्या स्टार्टिंग में?
उनने पुशअप मारे थे, चले 39 में रुके थे फिर।
चलो ठीक है, कोई नहीं। तो पता होगा ना मैंने कैसे एक्सप्लेन किया था क्या करना है GD-1 GD-2?
हाँ सर।
Okay, but anyhow, I'll brief you again. So basically, guys, in GTO of Indian Coast Guard, okay, outdoor task earlier we are not used to have, but currently now they are conducting. So maybe they are going for individual obstacles, or maybe this time they'll put the snake race or any other obstacle also, or any other group task. So be prepared for that. So your physical, fitness is also plays a very vital role in that. Okay. So in GTO, once you enter in the room, okay, they will start your exercise with the group discussion 1, group discussion 2, which we call GD-1 and GD-2. In GD-1, they'll give you 2 topics. You have to discuss among yourself and select one topic to have a discussion on. Okay. After that, some exercise called GP, group planning exercise, that will be conducted by an officer. Okay. After that, the last exercise will be lecturette, where they'll give you 3 minutes. You have to go through some, the card. Some 4 topics will be there. You have to choose one and you have to give the lecture on that one. After taking 3 minutes and revising or whatever you have in your mind, and you can put up, and you get 3 minutes to give the lecture on that particular topic in front of all your friends. Okay, I think that much is enough. Anybody have any doubt? Okay, so the topic 1 is of the GD-1. The Russia-Ukraine war has prolonged longer than expected. Okay, what are the reasons for that? Number 1, leads, historical. Second, ideological. And third is a vested interest. Now come to the topic number 2. As India is becoming one of the fast emerging countries, both on the economic front and a military field, in order to improve its hold on world level, with whom it should improve its relations. Number 1, lead with developing countries. And the next is lead is developed countries or the neighboring countries. You got the 3 leads, the countries which are developing, or the developed countries, or the neighboring countries. Am I clear? Okay. So the timing for the group discussion is not fixed. Depends on the level of discussion. Can reduce or it can increase up to 15 minutes. Minimum 5, maximum 15 minutes. You're not supposed to fight. Try to understand it's not a, debate. It's a discussion. And don't try. So I'm giving you 1 minute. Discuss among yourself and do let me know which topic you are going to discuss. Start.
Actually, gentlemen, we should go the gentlemen, we should go the second topic.
We have done a much of brainstorming yesterday. So second topic will be fine.
We already discussed the first topic.
Yeah.
Discuss the first topic.
Go with the
This time we should go with the second topic.
Okay,
This time we will. Yes, sir.
we can move forward in the second topic.
Second
Yes.
topic.
Okay, gentlemen. So you're going with the second topic. So you want me to repeat the topic?
No, sir.
Okay, guys, you can start your discussion. Please proceed.
So, as we all know that India is a fast emerging superpower, and in order to develop our military interests, I think the developed nation will provide the best defense equipments because they have got very strong military industrial complexes. For example, US has got them, the USSR, and now Russia has got them, and also the Israel and France are also got very developed weapons, so we can utilize the second lead for this discussion.
I think I like to add the point here, because if we support, like India support, or India for their military advancement support developed country, and we have the conflict with our neighbor country, if we can't resolve our first conflict with neighbor country, then how we can supposed to add how we can be supposed to said or develop country to help us in their medical
Yes,
advances?
friends. Yes,
Friends, I
friends.
think like we are
For India to be an
conflict
emerging.
will always be there, the conflicts. So we can we have the conflict from last 70 years, and this is going to be escalated from other from the coming forward or the next 30 years or 100, even 100 years also. So if we try to resolve the conflict, we will not able to move forward. So for the moving forward, we have to incline with the developing more developed countries or the countries who are developed. But I think we need to be very careful also, like which type of technology we are taking, or in terms of like economy also. Like we are very much emerging, our rupee is going down every day. So like federal in the United States, the federal banks are tightening. So if we incline with the developing countries, then we will be more beneficial. And as my friend said, like we should resolve the continue. I support your point, but the conflict should be resolved simultaneously also. So yeah, if anybody wants to contribute.
Yes, friends, in order to improve India's conditions in terms of military and economic improvements, India has to incline with the developing nations, which also includes neighboring nations, because we know that when developed nations favor us, they favor us on a restriction basis. But when we go together, like Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam, to make the world as one family, we can be a supreme power by changing our external policies, by changing the outlook of the world, rather than replacing someone as a superpower. We will lead. We will take ahead all the Eastern countries with us, and we will emerge as a supreme leader. So in my opinion, we have to incline towards developing nations, which is so many in numbers.
Okay, adding to Abhishek's point, as he said, we should incline more towards the developing countries. But there is one problem with the developing countries. India is a developing country, so if we trade with the developed countries, so what is the so there is one problem that the trade becomes unidirectional. That means if we do something, do some trades or do some anything with the developed nations, then we will only be buying the things from them. We will not be supplying the things. So the supply chain is not complete. But on the other hand, if we'll do the trade or other relations with the developing countries, then the supply chain will be from the both sides. Some things we will give to them, some things we will take from them. And in this way, the exchange of goods, the exchange of technology will be the exchange of technology will be balanced. And regarding the neighboring countries, we know that maximum of the conflicts that happens between the countries, that happens between the lands. As we know that China, it is majorly known that with all the countries it is sharing its border, it is having the conflicts with that countries, be it Nepal, be it Bhutan, be it India. So we should take the account of these countries also, that we should keep our relations good with these countries also by the trade or other things also.
See,
I would like to say that India should make its relation better with the developed countries, as also in the United Nations also we will see the P5 countries are majorly the developed countries right now, excluding China. China is still a developing country, as the United Nations say. Also, gentlemen, as one of our colleagues has said that we should improve the relations with our neighboring countries, as the wars will be going on, so we should make stable our country. But I would like to give the example of Turkey here. Turkey is not the neighboring country of our India, but it is always like coming in the conflict, as well as also the trade is also going well with Turkey right now. So I would like to say that India should improve its relations with the developed countries, as also one of our gentlemen has said that the trade will be unidirectional. But I would like to say at the point that regarding the trade of India and USA, India is benefiting the most, and the USA is the largest trading partner of our India. While if we take the example of China, so China is supplying the imports of India is very much higher from the China side. I would like to say that in terms of overall thing like the technology, military, as well as people-to-people contact, as well as of the United Nations also, as the United Nations need to reform right now. So I think that now the relations with the developed countries will be very much favorable for India to get developed in the coming
I support my friend's point. Like, man is known by his company, And if we keep keeping ties with the developing countries, how we should grow in the future. So for in any on the national level, international level, if anything is going to be resolved, in the United Nations, there is a we have to be powerful. Like we have to be the United Nations Security Council permanent member, and for this we should be aligned with the developed countries. So we can't play that game. Okay, we are developing countries, we need something. We have the power. We should have something to say. Second thing, like in developing countries, there's not I don't believe strongly that we don't have both weight ties with developed countries. Like we are so many sending the especially the human resource, we are getting the products or the other form of products through the developed countries, but we are sending a lot of human resources to US, either England, or to the European countries or the European Union countries. So I think the ties are already bilateral between India and the developed countries. We should move forward to the more manufacturing sector so that we will able to compete in the economy.
I think let me give
I
you
would
some
like
of
to
the pros and cons regarding all the 3 points.
US
Regarding the first
a lot of the
point,
goods
that
and
is, if India can explore ties with the neighboring countries, let me tell you, there are 2 adversaries in our neighborhood, and we cannot proceed further as far as the military establishments are concerned. But regarding the developing countries, we can only have a unilateral trade bias like we are doing with the Vietnam. We are providing our technologies like the BrahMos, and also with the Philippines, that makes our own military establishment get more profits. So that is one pros around it. But speaking about the developing countries, speaking about the developed countries, I can assure you that India will get much more technological advancement by seeking support from the others, by understanding what kind of technologies they are using. Because with Russia, we have got to know how ICBM works, how the BrahMos has been developed, how we have got the technology from the Israel regarding the drones, how we have got the technology of the 5th generation aircraft like the Rafale, that we have learned so many things from the developed nations because of their best military industrial complexes. And here comes the play of India, because I think we can garner the faster support and we can flourish in the way forward by developing with the help of
I support my
countries.
friend's points. Like I would like to add my friend's point. Like what the developed countries have, they have the very good technology. What we have a very good human resource. We have very cheap labors. Like what happened in AK-203 manufacturing in Amethi going on, like Indo-Russia Rifles Private Limited. So the Russians give us the technology. We are giving them land and the resources to make this happen. So these type of on the military ties. On the other hand, in the economy or in the science and technology ties also, if we move like the nuclear technology, we are making tokamak with the help of France, like in the field of nuclear fission. So these type of things we are supporting with the help of our scientists. They are supporting with the help of their technology. So yeah, I completely agree. Like what we have, they don't have. What they have, we have to seek the help from it. So
I'd like to add point here, but India not only support, or India not only depend on the developed country for their military or economic advancement. In addition to this, India can also lead the southern hemisphere country, like developing countries. India recently conducted the southern hemisphere conference in Gujarat, in which all the developed country had looking for India, so that India can resolve their issues or provide the necessary equipment or manufacturing, which can India is right now the world's largest pharmacy. It providing the requirement medicines to the developing country. In this way, India is not only acquiring the technology from the developed country, but also providing the in terms of world development, in terms of Africa. In Africa, there are developing countries, least developed countries. They are supporting India. India supporting there by their human resources, by their technological advancement, by their India replaced two-wheeler market. India replaced it in two-wheeler market. China is replaced in Africa.
Okay.
Yeah, yes, friends.
Yes,
Friends, we cannot ignore the
to that
fact
point,
that
I would like to also add that many people have said that the USA has is our a very good partner and have like equal trading partners with them. But USs are very old partner. If we take the example of Russia, that everyone is happy, okay, Russia is supplying us the cheapest oil. But the one thing is that by trading with Russia, we got the cheapest oil, but we didn't supply them anything. Okay, if technology, they are giving us a technology like USA. If US is giving us the equipment, but USA never gives us the technology. It never tells us that how that thing is made. Many other countries give us the technologies, but they don't give us. And second thing, the tying are giving like having ties with the developing nation. One major thing is that India will emerge as a superpower. India will emerge as a leading country into that. If we'll talk about our neighbors also, then our neighbors are like Sri Lanka, Bangladesh, Nepal, Bhutan. Amongst these all, we can be the leader. We can be the emerging leader. And once we have a control over these countries, we can have the control over the big platforms also. As someone has mentioned about the UNSC, that we will get a permanent seat. So by now we must have got the permanent seat. But as the veto power of the China, we have been like lacking behind somewhere. But still, we got one achievement this time, that as that Pakistani terrorist, I'm not recalling his name right now, that has been characterized as a global terrorist. So that is a very big win.
Okay.
So if we'll like go on like slowly, first with the developing countries, and then we go towards the developed countries first, then I think we can
taking forward the point of Sahil, I would like to focus on the present scenario in the world, that developed nations have showed the helplessness to solve the global problems, the present problems. India can take such problems as a challenge. For example, Taliban overtaking the underdeveloped nation Afghanistan. Still, the United States of America is unable to solve the problem. United States of America, even being a superpower, failed to solve the problem between Russia and Ukraine, where it helped the Ukraine to amplify the problems further. So we can take this as challenge, and we can take the challenge of our neighboring country, Myanmar. Myanmar government has been completely overtaken by the military government. Still, no superpowers have come out. We can give that. We can give our military support and economic support for the neighboring countries. Recently, the Sri Lanka crisis, where we have given more than $5 billion US dollars of help for Sri Lanka, and being the big brother for Sri Lanka, we have given medical assistance during the most needed time, financial assistance for most needed time. But the developed nations like China, which is considered to be a developed, it has trapped both Pakistan as well as Sri Lanka under debt trap, like taking up a Hambantota port under its condition. What exactly the developed nations are doing is that they are taking the sovereignty financial. They are taking all the countries, developing countries under them. They are making them lose their financial sovereignty. Now Pakistan conditions is completely crucial, because it has been backed up by United States of America since many years, but with bad intentions. But India can take this advantage. Recently, yesterday itself, Shahzad, the Prime Minister of Pakistan, has urged the help of India. So India can emerge as a superpower by solving these critical issues, like as I mentioned, 5 of the global problems presently.
Allow me to make a bridge between the two crucial points. One is developed countries, and another is developing countries. First of all, we have to think about what we can learn from the developed countries. Once we receive more kind of forex reserves, more kinds of foreign direct investments in order to nurture our own military industrial complex, and when we make those state-of-the-art weapons and equipments in an abundant phase, then only we can be able to sell them, share those technologies with the developing countries, and thereby gaining more and more amounts of profit that will generate more amount of employment in our nation. So I think the bridging this gap, India will be the pivot between the developed and the developing countries, learning the technologies from the developed countries and selling them to the developing countries in order to develop our own infrastructure, own military industrial complex, and that will be the smartest move from India's point of view.
I support my
Gentlemen,
friend's
also
point.
one of our
If
one
we
of our
see the
batchmates has said
economic
that.
point of view,
Yes.
so if we see the foreign direct investment, right, my friend has said, so if we see, we can't get investment from developing countries. They themselves don't have money. We get the investment from the developed countries, and for getting the investment, we have to be we have to incline in their interest. And no one is and as one of my friends said, like we have to become first, become the leader of the developing countries. We are already the leader of the developing countries. Like there is no meaning of fighting with the underdogs, and let's play the big game, and become the leader there. We have to make the pressure. Yeah, I agree with the point. Like we have to take the countries which are which are considered as the global south countries, and then make a pressure on the major issues to make the points, to cover the points, or to make them special arrangement, or like this in COP27 happened. We make a group of the developing countries and put a pressure to make a loss and damage fund on the economic fund, on the economic forum. But we can't go like make a tie with the countries which we can't give us employment.
Yeah.
Like if we see in the more of the major cities, the all of the companies, they are not running on Indian monies. They all are the foreign monies. Why there is a recession coming in India, or why there is a job loss? Because the global economies, the major economies or the developed companies are tightening their money. So we have to look in that direction. Developing countries, we become the Raja of the developing countries, but we are not getting anything.
I think
Adding
our
to this
friend-
point, I would like to say that we cannot be the savior of the developing countries unless we have the money to spend, also unless we are the financial economic superpower in the world. Also, we all are talking about the military as well as the investments, but I would like to highlight one basic point, that is tourism. Tourism constitutes the 9% of our India's GDP. And if we see that the people in the developed countries, they have the power to spend their money. So why not we attract them? And when we will attract them, we have to have good relations with the developed countries. Then these people will come. When they will come to India, they will get to know about the soft power of our country, as well as also these 9% which constitute right now tourism will increase to 15% or 20%, like as we see in the case of the Italy as well as of the other European countries. And also when these people will come to India, India's image will get better in the other countries. Also, they will bring investment to our country. So it will be beneficial from the tourism point of view, as well as also it will indirectly influence the economic condition of our country. And then we will get because the basic thing is that the soft power of our country, that what it is being perceived by the people outside the country, that what India is, and that is the basic thing that will help in becoming India as the superpower, like in the case of USA that we see right now in the world.
Our friend Dheeraj hasn't spoken anything. Can you please add some values in our conversation?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, Dheeraj, come on.
So what I think that India should be more inclined to the developed countries. So of course, one of our friends said that it is very necessary to get the permanent seat. Also, currently we are the president of the G20 group. The G20 meeting was held recently in India. So what I think India should be more inclined to the developed countries, so that to share the to gain the technology advancement also. And many of you has concluded many points. I don't have enough points to conclude.
Okay, so I think India should take the lead in order to nurture its own national interest, that is developing its own capabilities in terms of military industrial complexes, and we'll have to sell them to the developing countries. And the main motto of us should be Atmanirbharta, that is self-reliance. We'll have to learn those technologies, those tactics from the developed countries by aligning ourselves with their interests and develop them, and to sell them, to develop our own military industrial complex. Because in the times of war, we are facing various sanctions because we are over dependent on the Russian
as said by
technologies.
Anirudh, like if we go for developed nations, we are having a conflict between like whether we have to take up the S-400 deals from Russia or not, because presently Russia is completely having the sanctions. So how can we only depend on the developed nations? The second thing is when the recent problems, the present conditions we have to focus on. United Kingdom is extending its hands towards India, and France is asking India to come out to solve the problem of Russia-Ukraine. and during the COVID sessions, even the most developed nations have failed to give out the best to the world. But India has given emerged as a pioneer in the pharmacy, and we have supplied medicines to all the African countries, United States of America, to across the world. And we have and most important thing, during those emergency situations, we have not commercialized the prices of the medicines. We have given it at the same price. So this shows the
level of
unbiased
leadership that India has, the level of
Okay.
ability
at
that
one
the
point,
India has.
just I want to add is
Okay, gentlemen.
the
Okay, gentlemen. That was a very quite healthy discussion. So I hope you guys got a lot of knowledge, exchange of knowledge. Okay. Different board schools of education have a different syllabus, which creates a knowledge gap among the school students. To curate this gap, common syllabus throughout Indian schools would work. In your opinion, what would be the major effect of this step? Lead A means 1, no discrimination regarding education. Lead 2, threat to diversity. Lead 3, fees will reduce. Lead 4, bring load on teacher and students. Clear? You want me to repeat the topic?
The repeat leads.
Yes, sir. Okay.
repeat question.
Okay, lead 1, no discrimination regarding education. Lead 2, threat to diversity. Lead 3, fees will reduce. Lead 4, bring load on teacher and student. Pressure, loads, lot of work pile up and all those things on teacher and students. Please start your discussion.
As far as the new educational policy is concerned, we have found a major challenge regarding this. That is, most of the South Indian states, especially Tamil Nadu, they were objecting that this would lead to their cultural dilution. This would lead to the lack of diversity, and thereby promotion of the North Indian culture. And this had got a very hot-headed topic. That is why I think if we go with the second lead, that would be much more relevant as far as the current affairs is concerned.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah,
I agree with
also
Anirudh.
believe. Yeah, I agree with Anirudh. Like, because the whole purpose of this diverse country, why we call it the India in the world level, is the diversity. Because in here the people live in the different cultures, different states, different religion. Everything is completely different in respect to geography, also time zone also. So if we make every education system in one umbrella, it will create a very nuisance, or it will create a very hustle. And if we see the new education policy, I would like to differ from the Anirudh. Like, new education policy is all about decentralization of the education. Like, there is a point there. Like, if there should be a regional language in the new education policy till class 10th. So it is not actually very much a threat to the diversity. The new education is not actually the threat to the diversity, but the common syllabus is going to be a threat for diversity, because the country, the man who is or the student who is studying in Kashmir, who is studying in Punjab or Haryana, is quite different, or the thinking of these students are different from the students studying in Tamil Nadu or in Chennai or the different places. So I think it's going to be the threat for the
Okay,
diversity.
adding to another point, that as he said that there should be different, and there are regional differences, but there should be certain subjects which should be common to the whole country, so that the histories, for example, the history or our freedom struggle that we study, so that should be common to us, so that the people should know that what our fighters, what was the past of our country, and if someone is from J&K or someone is from Kerala, so the people who are living in Jammu and Kashmir, they should know that how the people who used to stay in Kerala, then how they used to live, and how, as people who are living in like the people of Kerala should know how J&K works. So as we know, as J&K is not, if I'll take the example of J&K, so J&K is known as the crown of our country, and we know that the major conflict between the two countries, that is China and Pakistan, we have that conflict with respect to the J&K only. So if the South Indian people, suppose he joins the army and he don't know about that, what is happening in J&K and what are the things, so how can he'll be able to correlate that? So if he'll be having some knowledge, okay, the people used to stay there, and this was the problems which was going to occur, so that will be helpful for him to serve there, and also for, like, if he'll do other things also.
I completely support Sahil point. There's some things, not only history, because science things or mathematics things, these all things should be common. But something which is completely connected to our tongue, to our mother language, something our local cultures we should know, and we bring like if we study at any national university, we will see like the whole country bring together. Everyone has a different flavor. We cannot do on the degree level or the graduation level. If you're choosing some specialization subject, then we can make a common syllabus. But till a certain level, till a intermediate level, I think where there should be a taste of regionalization to understand the local culture also. So
Yes,
if
so
anybody
we should.
Yes,
we
I
can
agree with
also
this, sir.
include that there should be a particular subject which is related to the regional language of that state, so that the people should know about their roots, that what are their actual roots, and the one subject should be there so that they can correlate with that and can go forward with that.
Gentlemen, also this can be done. This can be done by giving examples of the past. Also, like in the history. Also, if we will see, then the people who are coming to the secondary education or senior secondary education, so they must be very much thorough about their state and about their past, more thorough as compared to the other states. Also, this will create like a love for their state also, and also it will also lead to a diversity as the people then they will work for the central government or in the private sector. So then they will like share their knowledge, and then the more people will get new knowledge about our country as well as our past also, and this will improve the critical thinking of the people and also will help in the public policy making in the future.
Yes,
This
friends, I would like to take bringing all the educational or all the state boards under one umbrella will create a positive impact on the Indian society. Like I would like to take the first priority as reducing the stress level, like reducing the load of teachers as first priority, because if we look at the practical problems in the Indian education system, most of the teachers are focusing on documentation process and all these things, and we should clearly notice that education system is not the only thing which will bringing the education system will not just is a threat to diversity, because once we have common education for all the people, we can move to the digital platforms. We can reduce the time that we are giving to the that we are spending from 8 to 10 hours in schools and colleges, and we can focus on innovative and creativeness of the student, and we can focus on sports level, because we are heading far behind in Olympic games and football. We should impart that skill within the student. To impart these things, we have to come under one umbrella, and we should make sure that we can focus parallelly on other things like innovative startups and all. Even now, the person who is graduating, even after 23 years, he is still unemployed up to 28, 30 years of old. He cannot find his passion towards his life. So if we end the education just by 5 plus 3 plus 5 plus 3 plus 3 plus 4, if we end it at the earlier stage, we can contribute more to the world at the world level. I would like to hear from you people as well.
I would like to differ from my friend, because as he said, it will reduce the load for the teachers. Rather, I think it will increase the load for the teachers. Like the teacher in the Andhra Pradesh, if the Hindi should be made compulsory, the teacher in the Andhra Pradesh have to make more load. He had to learn the Hindi, and then he has to teach. A teacher in the Assam who is teaching his local language in Assamese, he has to learn other language. Or if we make Sanskrit all over the country, so making things common will increase the burden over the teachers. And the second point, please.
I would like to add one thing
in our
that
company.
I just wanted to add one thing, like the content of the syllabus is still not mentioned in national education policy. Just even like as you said, it differs from in national education policy. It is clearly mentioned that below the age of 5 years, or below the age of 5th standard, a regional language is given importance. So this must be taken into consideration. Like that kind of uniqueness will not be maintained. So
I think our
So-
main motto of our country is the unity within diversity. So we'll have a diverse prospect, a diverse education, a diverse religion, diverse culture, but we'll also have to unite it all together in a homogeneous country. That is by integrating our educational policies. For examples, one teacher from the Kashmir can also be able to preach in the Kanyakumari, and
Yeah.
also from the teacher of Kanyakumari can go to the Northeast. So it will
Yes.
bring a divergence of the cultures, intermixing of the cultures, which will nurture, manifest into our patriotism, and by neglecting the regionalism and the secessionism. So education will be a toolkit, it will be a canvas upon which we can unite our society. And talking about another brownie point, which is the cheapness of the education will also get increased, because there will be a level playing field. Every states and every corners of the country will seem to have an effect of a common educational curricula, and also the fees will be similar in everywhere. It will
Yes.
also provide competition, and there will be level playing field from every corners of our society, which will manifest into a better talent pool for the future generations within India.
Definitely taking forward the point of Anirudh, I would like to take, we can play at the international level by imparting common education, because knowledge is not just the thing that we have to take up to 20 years or 22 years of old. Application of knowledge is important. Application of knowledge is important when we all come at one standard of levels. We can have innovative startups like Facebook. Facebook is the startup given up by United States of America. Twitter, all these social media platforms are the startups of the college students like Mark Zuckerberg of United States of America. So if we can complete the education system in one go, we can share the opinions. Even though the knowledge base is same, but the opinion will differ from state to state. We can unite and we can contribute at the international level. We can come up space projects as well, which is space collaboration with NASA, space collaboration with ISRO. All these things can happen only when we have common pool to channelize all the people at one level through digital platforms.
Yeah,
So what
I
I
support
think,
your point, but go ahead, please, Dheeraj.
so what I think that it is very necessary to give regional knowledge and knowledge about the regional subject to enhance the cultural value. Also, as we have seen that there is only one exam for the UPSC, and the other exam they have the particular subject syllabus. So what I think from a certain level they have we should have a common syllabus, such that if the people or the candidate of the Uttarakhand or some other state want to give the exam of other state, like PCS level or other levels, so they can have easy to go with that. Or also there is no discrimination uh, to the level of education, so it can be easier to that students to give the exam of other state as well. So
Yes,
I
friend.
think
Yeah,
it is
I
very
personally
necessary
feel
to have
One
common
this
thing
is
I
syllabus.
very
want to
good
add
point.
for Dheeraj.
Like if we make the overall in one umbrella, let's suppose the student from Punjab, he's seeing the agriculture things from childhood, so he can good excel in that field. The student from the Jharkhand who is living in the Jamshedpur, he knows more about the coal because he's seeing the coal technologies or the petroleum or the metallurgy part of things very good. The student who is in the Goa, he knows more about tourism or hotel management. So if we make in under one umbrella, we will lose this opportunity who is growing up in that environment.
Yes.
So I think there should be inclusion of the regionalism or the will to go in the regional fields. If anyone wants to
like I totally agree with what Sharad has told about these things. Like that is why we have implemented national education policy. National education policy, what it states, like whatever the drawbacks that you have mentioned just now, it is all being taken care, and it has been systematically analyzed at the ground level and made sure that all these are the solutions and the toolkit for the students. And as you said, the about the regional level, regional languages are given importance in national education policy, and there is no compulsion of studying the degree level degree up to 22 years. You can after +2 you can take up one you can complete just 1 year, and you will be given certification, and you will be given diploma certification. You can continue your work. So all these things are already taken into consideration.
Gentlemen,
Okay,
also
so,
I would like
adding to
to
your
add
point.
that as we have talked much about the regionalism as well as the nationalism in the education, like some subjects must be very much similar in all the states, while some must be different to maintain the regional basis. But I would like to say that the CBSE can play a major role in this, that there must be a nodal agency in which the other secondary boards that we have in the state should collaborate to make a set of subjects in which the syllabus will be same, and in the and the things in which they like to add the regional things, they can add this, and the nodal agency can help them. Also, we can take the example of Kendriya Vidyalaya Sangathan, as they are under the CBSE, but there are many teacher exchange program as well as the student exchange program, which helps the teachers to learn much about the other states as well as their way of teaching, that how the teaching is going on, as well as also the students also get to know and get the exposure that how the students of the other states also think. So this will help in making the nationalism as India as a one nation. It will help India. Also, it will help the regional education also.
Okay,
Speaking
gentlemen.
about
Also adding to this point that
efficiency
we know
of
that
the
education not only
Okay,
like give us the mental knowledge or the bookish knowledge.
Okay, fine. So that was a very healthy discussion. Okay, Dheeraj, I want you to speak for next 3 minutes. Start.
Come on, man, you can do it. Just give it a go.
So, but I think it is necessary to have common syllabus, and also to certain level there must be a regional subject also to add it to add the value of the culture value to the students of living in a particular area. As one of us friend says, India is a country of unity and diversity. So it is very necessary to have cultural knowledge of their particular area where they live. Also, to us, after the certain level, like up to 8th or 9th, there should be a common syllabus, such that we can see that in all over India, like exams of UPSC, CDS, NDA, and many of other exam, and also the state level exam, people have some difficulty in giving this other state level PCS. So if they have the common syllabus throughout whole the country, so it can be easy for the student to give the exam of other state as well, so that they can also take the knowledge of that state also.
Okay, gentlemen. Fine, Dheeraj, fine. So, gentlemen, I think you have learned a lot from your friends, the exchange of knowledge which you guys have on this particular topic. I hope. Okay, gentlemen, next exercise is called as a lecturette. Okay. So before lecturette, each and everyone have to introduce yourself to your friends. Okay, so in that, what you have to tell your name, the place you belong, your education, currently what you are doing, and who is your role model. Okay. One by one, everyone have to come. Okay, and give their introduction. Okay, and the first person, once he done with his introduction, okay, you have to directly, I'll put you in the waiting room. I'll send you the card in which there's some 4 topics will be there. You have to choose one topic and prepare there for 3 minutes. Then I'll let you in. By the time everyone will be done with their introduction. Is it fine? But there everyone finish their introduction. Then they'll send you for 3 minutes of time.
So, hello everyone. I'm Sahar Shanand. I belong to Muzaffarpur, Bihar. I'm 23 years old. I completed my BTech last year in July 2022. And right now I'm working as a software developer at Geo7 Media Limited. Thank you.
What things I told you to tell in the introduction?
Name, age, from where you belong, education qualification, and if you work, then.
No, I didn't say that. Listen very properly what I am saying and follow that strictly. Everyone remember, right? What are all things I ask you to give an introduction? Okay, then then you can see in the video what you guys did mistake. Okay, next go.
Good evening, gentlemen. My name is Rahul Kumar, and I belong to the small village of Indragadi, Ghaziabad, Uttar Pradesh. And I had done my +2 from Maharishi Dayanand Vidyapit Inter College, Ghaziabad, which is situated in Ghaziabad. And my +2 was I completed my +2 in 2014 from the same college, Maharishi Dayanand Vidyapit Intermediate College, Ghaziabad. And I completed my BTech in electrical and electronics engineering from Krishna Institute of Engineering Technology, Ghaziabad. With right now, I am working as a quality manager in Wipro in Gurugram, and my role model is my father. Thank
you. Anirudh, unmute yourself, and you should not stand before the person is done. So जब तक खत्म नहीं होगा उसका आपको नहीं खड़े होना है. या तो आप खड़े कैसे भी हो रहे हो. Strict, follow strictly everything. जब उसका हो जाएगा तो आप खड़े हो, no problem. Take your time. Don't get पहले खड़े नहीं हो जाना है. और शायद थोड़ा कैमरा नीचे करो. Start.
So, gentlemen, my name is Anirudh Karmakar. I belong to Shiliguri in Darjeeling district of West Bengal, and I've done my schooling class 10th and 12th from Maragat Sister Nivedita English School, Shiliguri, and I've done BTech in electrical engineering from Kalinga Institute of Industrial Technology in Bhubaneswar, Odisha. Right now, I'm studying and preparing for the UPSC and also for the SSB interviews. And my role model is my mother nation. Thank you.
Friends, I am Abhishek from Vijaypur district of Karnataka. I have completed my graduation from Don Bosco Institute of Technology, Bangalore. I am presently self-employed and I have collaboration with many organizations to provide them regional service and implement their projects at the regional level. My role models are Sudha Murthy ma'am and Narayan Murthy sirs, the founders of Infosys Foundation. Thank you.
Good evening, friends. My name is Tarun Yadav. I belong from a Tehsil Behrod in district Alwar of Rajasthan. I have done my schooling class 12 from Takshila Public School and then done BSc in Transportation Technology from National Rail and Transportation Institute, Vadodara. I am right now preparing for the government examinations and my role model is my mother. Thank you.
Hello friends, my name is Dheeraj Pandey. I belong to Haldwani, Uttarakhand, and I have done my schooling from Universal Convents in Secondary School, Haldwani, and I have done my graduation from MBPG College, and currently I am pursuing post-graduation from MA, and my role model is my mother. Thank you.
Good evening, gentlemen. My name is Sahil. I belong from district Una, Himachal Pradesh. I did my schooling from Sainik School, Sujanpur. I did my undergraduation from National Rail and Transportation Technology in BSc in Transportation and Technology. And at present, I am pursuing MA in Political Science, and my role model is my father. Thank you.
Good morning, friends. I have chosen the topic e-governance. So, in e-governance, E stands for electronic. If we see from where it started, the e-governance it basically started by our Honorable Prime Minister Rajiv Gandhi in 1970s. So if we see the objectives of e-governance, the first objective is the very smooth relationship between the government and between the public. Second, there will be a very smooth supply of the services. Third is the industry and the industry will become very much smooth with respect to information and communication technology. And fourth, to make the education and other services, welfare services, very easily approachable. So if we see like what are the products under the e-governance, first is the MyGov program. In the MyGov program, government gives discuss and also gives the blogs, also give the information directly to the public, and it also sometimes do the votings. Second is the DigiLocker. So DigiLocker is the very good initiative under the e-governance, under which we can secure our documents. We can use our documents also as a complete as an original form, and it is acceptable at all the public or the private platforms. Second is the national scholarships programs. And this is also NSP is a portal in which a student or a working professional can apply and get the scholarship according to his eligibility. Earlier, because earlier the NSP, a student has to go on a different platforms for the scholarships. But under this program, even he can get a scholarship in the foreign universities also. Next is the Darpan. Darpan is also to get the industrialized suggestion regarding their occupation. If you see the challenges of the e-governance, the first challenge is the availability of the internet or availability of the digital media all over the country. Like if we see our India is not so digital right now also. After lockdown, the digitalization has become very prominent. So the first challenge is to make the India completely connected through the digital lines. Second, the uses of the digital, like in the uses has become is very much complex, and the people of the India, like we know, the 60% of the population of India still lives in villages, so they are not very much trained to use the digital technology or use the governance. And the third is we have to stop the corruption happening in the e-governance. Like the algorithm is controlled by few people who are managing the whole things. So if we move forward and we'll look what is the way forward to solve these challenges in the e-governance. So the first challenge is to the availability or the reach of the digital schemes. So I think government should have to collaborate to the other private parties, like the government of India has collaborated to the Google to get the Wi-Fi on every railway stations, and it has also collaborated with the Microsoft for getting easier access to the internet and other facilities.
Okay.
So first is this.
Sit down. Okay.
Good evening, gentlemen. Today's my lecture topic is women in defense role. Women's in for the long time have been women's first participation in the defense force started in the 1992 when the Indian Air Force, Indian Army, and Indian Navy started inducting women officers as a short service commission. But women are given only administrative or logistic role, not in the combat role. This huge scenario was completely changed in the Supreme Court judgment in 2015 when the batch of women officer pleaded before the Supreme Court bench, and the Supreme Court gave the verdict in their favor. Now, after the Supreme Court judgment, the government, which is central government, gave the reason that women are not physically or psychologically ready for the combat role and for permanent role. And the Supreme Court gave another verdict, in which he recalled his earlier verdict, in which he strictly told the central government to give the permanent commission to the women role, and the legal and the implication of the women's induction in the defense force as follows. Women's induction gives the moral courage to armed forces, and their number, which were women firstly largely women's largely differ from the armed forces, and it is written in the Indian it is written in our constitution that everyone has the right to pursue their own profession. So it is also in the spirit of constitution that this follows, and women's now as a combat as well as in logistic and material can enhance the army preparedness and army role as a combat and defensive role. And this way in which women have the larger role to play can give the nations and fulfill their duties. Thank you.
Okay, shall I start? Okay, so gentlemen, today I have chosen the topic that is Indian economy. As we all know, India, which historically had been a major global power, had been reduced to the poverty after the Britishers had left India. And after the 1991, via globalization, liquidation, and privatization, India has been fast-paced its economic boost. And right now, India is a very nascent phase and in a very mature phase and is about to become a global prominent power. India is about to become the third largest economy within the forthcoming 2 or 3 years. Right now, India's economy is 3.1 trillion, and India is growing at a very faster pace of 7.2%. Now, there are various challenges regarding the India's economic growth. The first one is the global recession, thanks to the war in Europe and also the COVID aftermath, which has severely tested the durability of the world economy. And India has been in a very good position right now. India has a political stability right now, and the forex reserves are coming. The FDI, foreign direct investment, is also coming to India. There are also challenges others, like there is corruption, there is red tapeism within the Indian bureaucracy, there is the bureaucratic cholesterol, there is licensing norms which hinders the economic growth, and also there is unemployment, poverty, illiteracy, and many other things. So how can we reduce them? How can we get work out of it? The first thing lies the all-round development, sustainable development, and good governance. The governance is the center to all of this. We need to focus on more education. We need to nurture our own human resources in order to get them employed, in order to nurture more and more entrepreneurship into our economy. Entrepreneurship is the crucial to the economic functioning. We need to assure the other Western powers that more FDI and forex reserves can be come into India, more business investments can come towards India in order to nurture our economy further. We need to have a very global, strong stature, and the global powers should see India as an emerging power. And India should thereby become the world's largest superpower and compete within the power structure with the US and the China in the forthcoming future ahead, and will revive its glory, and which India had been throughout the past ancient civilization. Thank you.
Friends, my lecture topic is Chinese goods impact on India. First of all, India is India is the second largest importer of Chinese goods, in which our trade deficit with China has increased up to more than 50 billion US dollars. We import most of the plastic goods and semiconductor which are used in electronic devices. So most of our software companies are dependent on China's goods that we are importing. Since independence, it's almost up to more than 50 to 70 years. The dependency on China has improved. Even so the impact are as follows. Since the most of the goods are imported from China, the domestic market is being suppressed and poverty is increasing, and due to this most of the children die due to malnutrition condition, because Indian markets fail to reach to the international level, and even they are suppressed by the competitors around the world. The second thing what is impacting is that the importing of large number of food items which is not so qualitative is leading to the poor health infrastructure of citizens, and most of the infrastructure and innovative projects are being also given to the China. So the talents of India are not coming up. So by this, the domestic production has been suppressed for a very longer time. So in my opinion, India should follow the opinion of vocal to local, so that the local markets can reach at the global level. So we have to reduce the impact of Chinese goods from now onwards. Thank you.
Good evening, friends. Today I am going to talk on the topic India-China relations. Since the ancient history, India and China has been the major trading superpower in the world. In the ancient civilizations also, China's Havango civilization as well as India's Indus Valley civilization were the two prominent civilizations in the four existing civilizations at that time. The ancient travelers like Faya and Xuanzang and the spread of Buddhism in China also made India's relations with China very much friendly. During the modern history also, India when was under the British rule, India was doing the tea trade as well as the civilizational connect with people to people was also there. India got independence in 1947, but China got independence in 1950. And as both the countries were following the socialist ideology, as since our Prime Minister, Mr. Jawaharlal Nehru, and our country was following the socialist ideology, India was in very friendly relations during the first decade of our country's independence. But in 1961, China backstabbed India, and then Indo-China War happened. Since then, India and China used to be the growing economies of the world, but in the 1990s, during the rule of Deng Xiaoping, China improved very well in its GDP and now is the major superpower in terms of financial, economic, as well as also the military superpower in the world. During the recent times after the 2024 NDA government, India has also improved its economic conditions, and because of this reason, China considers India as a threat to its hegemonic ideology in Asia as well as also in the world. Right now, the recent clashes of Galwan clash as well as in the Arunachal Pradesh, it has posed threat to India and also shown the ideology of China. China is still a major trading partner of India, but also the recent things that China has done to India, it shows that China perceives India as a threat to its economy as well as to also the world. India has also, to counter this, India has also applied its diamond necklace strategy to counter the string of pearls strategy, and also now India is strengthening ties with its neighboring nation so that they can be protected from China's loans. India has also partnered with USA in the quadrilateral security dialogue to counter China's hegemonistic principles in Indian Ocean, as well as also the recent power that India has got in the Indian Ocean region. It shows that how India is tackling the China's threats in India. Now, as we all know that India, China, and USA will be driving the economy of the world in the next 50 years. So it is very much important for India and China to improve their relations for the betterment of the economy as well as for the world peace also. India, as we all know that India always welcomes Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam, and we always want to have peace with these countries. So we need to strengthen the multilateral organizations like United Nations as well as also the other organizations so that India and China can have cordial relations and we can drive the world and also achieve the sustainable development goals in the future. Thank you.
It was a warning bell. You remember that, Tarun?
No, sir.
Hello, gentlemen. My lecture's topic is center-state relation. So our constitution has divided the power into legislative, administrative, and executive or financial relation. So in order to understand center-state relation, we have to understand the legislative powers and executive and financial power distribution among the center and the state. And this was given in the part 11 of the constitution. So legislative relations. So the center has more power, and we can say in order to learn legislative relation, because center can make laws in all over the country, and state have the restriction to over the state only. Also, center can make laws outside of the country also, but center cannot do the same. Center has more administrative power as compared to state. Also, the executive powers. Center can appoint like president can appoint different state election commission and governor to have an eye on the state, also how they are performing the functions, also the laws are implementing or not. Or there are certain type of emergency like national emergency, president rule, and the financial emergency. In national emergency, all the power are invested in the hands of central. There is no power in the hands of state during national emergency. And during president rule, all the power was given to the president, and president exercised the power on the state. And the same time, the legislative assembly of the state was suspended, and governor exercised the power at the same time, and during final emergency also. And the third relation is the financial relation. So in some of the cases, the state is under the central for the financial purpose. Also, central has more expenditure.
Yeah.
And
Good evening, gentlemen. My topic is artificial intelligence in transportation. So starting from the ancient times, from the invention of the wheel, when first the transportation came into being, to the present condition of the artificial intelligence, that the cars are moving without the drivers. So before getting into more deeper into that, I would like to take the instance of India. So at present, our Prime Minister has also started one program, that is the Gati Shakti, in which is majorly focusing on the transportation on the transportation sector and the infrastructure. So being as I also did my graduation from National Rail and Transportation Institute only, so that is also under the Gati Shakti program, which has been started by him. And talking about the main part, that is the artificial intelligence. So as we all know that the humans are not 100% correct. Humans are tend to make mistakes. So to reduce that, nowadays the lot of inventions have been made. So for example, the self-driving cars and the major industry. So this is a major booming industry, I can say, and the major countries which is taking part in this is the USA and China. So China is the major hub of making the countries which is related to like the self-driving cars. And the major company which is taking part in transportation is that. So as I have already told that the humans are tend to make mistakes and they cannot be 100% perfect. And as human works day in and day out, so there are issues which have his car, that how it was completely burnt. But the major thing was that his car was having the 5-star rating. So 5-star rating, that means his car was at the top-notch priority, in top-notch top-notch safety equipments it is having, and it is also equipped with the self-driving thing. So that if that accident has taken place, and then also he was safe and sound, and like he was having some minor injuries, his leg was fractured, but with compared to the condition of the car, he was quite safe. So that thing also plays an important role in that. And also regarding the second thing about the wars, as you know that nowadays everyone almost in every month we can see that the both countries are fighting with each other. But what is the major advancement in that nowadays countries are not fighting with the humans, they are fighting with the drones, they are fighting with the vehicles, with the equipments which are not controlled by the humans directly, in which the humans were not sitting. They are just sitting in their room and they're controlling the things from there. So that thing has also developed. And also if we talk about the space, that how artificial intelligence has worked in space. So nowadays earlier what things used to be that every time one or two astronauts used to go with the spacecrafts, and they used to go and check out there. Nowadays, the robots have been made. Nowadays, robotic cars have been made. So that kind of cars
Yes,
have been
I'll-
directly sent to the other planets, and they used to
I'll-
take out.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay, gentlemen. So there was a quite good exercise which we did. Right. I think you guys got a lot of information on certain topic. Okay, so I'm going to share a new link. You can join in next 2-3 minutes. We'll have some discussion for 5-10 minutes, then we'll wind up the session. Okay.